बच्चों, कैसे हैं आप? आई होप ऑल ऑफ यू आर गुड, यू आर डूइंग फाइन. घर पे बैठे बैठे बोर तो नहीं हो रहे हो? आई होप सो. सो आई एम श्योर यू आर एंजॉइंग योर सेल्फ. एंटरटेनमेंट पूरा चल रहा होगा. आई हैव नो डाउट अबाउट दैट. बट what you also need to know is that you need to study, you need to work hard. Please do not forget that exams aane wale hain and we have a lot of things to do. So today I'm going to discuss Alfred Lord Tennyson's The Lady of Shalott with you. So as you all know, it's a lyrical ballad written by Tennyson way back in 1832. And in this lecture what I'm going to do is I'm going to read certain important parts of the poem and explain certain things to you side by side. Okay, so I'll not read the entire poem because it's a long one. I'm going to read certain important stanzas and then I'll discuss my interpretation with you. So here we go. On either side the river lie long fields of barley and of rye that cloth the wold and meet the sky, and through the field the road runs by to many towered Camelot. The yellow-leaved water-lily, the green sheathed daffodilly tremble in the water chilly round about Shalott. Willows whiten, aspens shiver, the sunbeam showers break and quiver in the stream that runneth ever by the island in the river flowing down to Camelot. Four grey walls and four grey towers overlook a space of flowers, and the silent isle embowers the Lady of Shalott. So, in the first two stanzas, what we notice is a vivid description of the rural imagery. There is a village, there is an island called the island of Shalott, and it is on the way to the more prominent and lively city of Camelot. And we know that this island, it's a silent island where not many people live. It also embowers the beautiful Lady of Shalott. So from the first two stanzas, we note that the Lady of Shalott is imprisoned in a tower of four grey walls. The emphasis on four grey suggests that the life led by the lady is quite monotonous and without any newness. You know, she is imprisoned, she is captured in a tower, and we know that we can guess that she might be leading a miserable life. क्योंकि अगर आपको कैप्टिविटी में रख दे बंद करके, आप कैसा फील करोगे? You will feel like a bird in a cage. So let's see how the lady feels. And another important thing that we know, we do not really get to know her real name. She is known by the name of the place which she inhabits, that is Shalott. We don't know her real name. So I go further. Underneath the bearded barley, the reaper, reaping late and early, hears her ever chanting cheerily, like an angel singing clearly, over the stream of Camelot. Piling the sheaves in furrows airy, beneath the moon the reaper weary, listening whispers, it is the fairy Lady of Shalott. So one thing is clear, the lady is imprisoned in a tower, okay? No one has ever seen her, but people have heard her. Who have heard her? किसने सुना है? People who work in the fields, reapers. You know, so since we know about the rural imagery, there is this vivid description going on about a village, about an island in which most of the people are farmers. Only those farmers who reap early, who cut their crops early in the morning, listen to the lady singing beautifully. So she is a talented singer too. Alright, so only those people who reap the fields early in the morning get to hear her voice. Otherwise, people do not know about her existence because nobody has seen her face to face. So we move on to the part 2 of the poem. No time hath she to sport and play. A charmed web she weaves always. A curse is on her if she stay her weaving either night or day, to look down to Camelot. She knows not what the curse may be. Therefore she weaveth steadily. Therefore no other care hath she, the Lady of Shalott. So what do we notice when we read this stanza? No time has she to sport and play. She doesn't really have any time to interact with other people, to sport and play. This suggests that she has no time for outside activity. She's imprisoned in a tower. She is weaving a magic web. She's an artist. She's weaving a web of thread, beautiful thread. She's doing her artwork, but she doesn't have time to go out and interact with other people. She has heard from, she has heard, it is a hearsay, that a curse is on her. What kind of curse? If she looks down to the city of Camelot, something worse may befall her. Something bad might happen to her. So this is the curse that she has heard. उसने सुना है कि उसके साथ बहुत बुरा हो सकता है अगर उसने अपना काम छोड़कर कैमलॉट की तरफ सीधा देखा तो. Right? So the town of Camelot represents unknown possibilities, mysteries, the wonder and excitement of life, the access to which she is denied. Okay, तो उसके ऊपर curse है, and she accepts the curse with all dignity and humility. Therefore she weaveth steadily, therefore no other care hath she, the Lady of Shalott. So she had immersed herself in her artwork. उसे बाहर की दुनिया से कोई लेना देना नहीं था. Okay? She lives with little joy or fear, over the water running near. The sheep bell tinkles in her ear. Before her hangs a mirror clear, reflecting towered Camelot. And as the mazy web she whirls, she sees the surly village churls and the red cloaks of market girls pass onward from Shalott. So, what do we notice in this stanza? So she lives with little joy or fear. Little joy or fear. क्यों? क्योंकि उसके पास एक्सेस ही नहीं है बाहर की दुनिया की. So वो बस लोगों को आते जाते देखती है. She sees people moving on and about, doing their chores, and she has no direct access to the reality outside. Right? So what do you notice about the lady? So there is a mirror in her tower. Okay, उस mirror में reality reflect हो रही है. The reality gets reflected in the mirror because she cannot look outside the window directly. She's cursed. If she will look outside the window, she might die. Her life would end. So she notices the life going on. She notices the picture, the images, the people going on about their work only through a reflection of their activities in the mirror. Okay? Sometimes a troop of damsels glad, an abbot on an ambling pad, or sometimes a curly shepherd lad, or long-haired page in crimson clad, goes by to towered Camelot. And sometimes through the mirror blue, the knights come riding two and two. She hath no loyal knight and true, the Lady of Shalott. So these are the kinds of people she sees in the mirror. Kya? Damsels glad, beautiful ladies, people belonging to the church, young men and women. Sometimes she also sees gallant knights going about and doing their chores. But the tragedy of her life is that she only sees them through the reflection in a mirror. Okay? And she doesn't have any real lover in her life. She doesn't have any loyal knight, the Lady of Shalott. But in her web she still delights to weave the mirror's magic sights, and often through the silent nights a funeral with plumes and lights and music went to Camelot. Or when the moon was overhead came two young lovers lately wed. I am half sick of shadows, said the Lady of Shalott. So in this stanza is very important from the perspective of the theme of the poem. Why? Because कभी कभी जब lady बाहर के scenes देख रही है, she is watching the images, the scenery outside, she notices two young newlywed people coming together and enjoying their blissful married life. Then she remarks, I am half sick of shadows. So for the first time we hear her saying something. This is her first dialogue. She says something outright. And she says, I'm half sick of shadows. Why? Because everything is reflected to her in the mirror. उसको सच में कुछ नहीं पता हो क्या रहा है. She has no direct access to the real world. So she says, I am bored of this monotonous existence that I am living. I need something new. I need to see reality as it is with my own experience. मुझे second hand reality नहीं चाहिए. This is what the Lady of Shalott means. I do not want reflections. I want reality. So she is sick of shadows. Alright? Part 3. A bough shot from her bower eaves, he rode between the barley sheaves. The sun came dazzling through the leaves and flamed upon the brazen greaves of bold Sir Lancelot. A red cross knight forever kneeled to Lady in his shield that sparkled on the yellow field beside remote Shalott. So what happens one day is, there comes the bold and gallant knight Sir Lancelot. He is so handsome that, you know, later in the stanzas you will notice that the lady is instantly enamored by his appearance. She sees him coming in the mirror, and when she sees him, she is instantly drawn towards him. So she loves the reflection of Sir Lancelot, who is a gallant knight, and he comes riding his horse. His description is so beautiful and so vivid. You will notice that he's wearing blue stockings and he's in his armor. His armor is shining. So all these images, heighten the effect the scene has on the mind of the lady. She has never seen such a handsome man. She doesn't even have a lover. So it might be that she instantly falls in love with Sir Lancelot. So this is love at first sight. But you remember what her curse is. If she looks directly towards Camelot, he's going to Camelot. If she looks directly towards Camelot, the curse will fall upon her and she would die. But as I already discussed with you, she is so enchanted, thoroughly captivated by the handsomeness and beauty of Sir Lancelot that she decides to forsake all her second-hand life and decides to accept reality as it is. What she does is, she left the web, she left the loom. She made 3 paces through the room. She saw the water lily bloom. She saw the helmet and the plume. She looked down to Camelot. Out flew the web and floated wide. The mirror cracked from side to side. The curse is come upon me, cried the Lady of Shalott. So what do we notice in the end of part 3? The moment she stares at Sir Lancelot directly, what happens? Her web, it floats outside the window. Her mirror cracks wide open. It breaks. And everything appears to be dark and sinister. She knows, उसे पता चल गया है that she is doomed. The curse is come upon me, cries the Lady of Shalott. Okay, so she realizes that this is her last time. Part 4. In the stormy east wind straining, the pale yellow woods were waning. The broad stream in his banks complaining, heavily the low sky raining over the towered Camelot. Down she came and found a boat beneath a willow left afloat, and round about the prow she rode the Lady of Shalott. So what happens next is, she finds a boat, she goes down the tower, she climbs down the tower and she finds a boat. And on the boat she writes her name, the Lady of Shalott. Okay, so the imagery in this part is all dark, brooding, because we know something bad is going to happen to her. The curse has fallen upon her. So again and again you notice that there is a curse on her. Okay, she is cursed. By whom? किसने कर्ज किया उसे? It is important to understand, if you look at in the larger social context of Victorian England, that women were not really free to express themselves artistically. There were certain stereotypical roles assigned to women in the sphere of domesticity, in the sphere of household, in which they were assigned maternal and household chores. Apart from that, if they dared to perform certain manly tasks, they were looked down upon and they were frowned upon by everyone. So, for example, um, if you look at the other writers in Victorian age, for example, Charlotte Bronte, Anne Bronte, Emily Bronte, they all they all took male pseudonyms, you know, Ellis, Acton, and Currer Bell, in order to publish their novels. They could not publish it, by under their original names. Why? Because they were women. George Eliot, one of the most prominent Victorian novelists, she was a woman, Mary Ann Evans. Why could not she disclose her true identity? Precisely because Victorian society was dominated by males. Women did not have the freedom to disclose their true talent, true identity. Women were confined to the domestic sphere, right? So this was expected of them. This is the curse of Victorian society, that if you leave your confined space, if you leave your domestic sphere, you are doomed forever. No one will respect you. And respect, prestige, and moral values are the three pillars which were the most, are the three pillars on which Victorian society stood. And they were very important for a woman. So she, the Lady of Shalott, dared to defy those boundaries, and she steps outside. She takes a boat, she writes her name on it. Why does she write her name on it? Because she wants them to know her real identity. She doesn't want to go unnamed. Okay? So now she is lying in the boat and she floats down to the city of Camelot. She floats down to the city of Camelot. People in Camelot are busy performing their chores. People are having parties, they are enjoying themselves. But suddenly they see this beautiful lady floating down towards Camelot in a city, in a boat. And she is wearing a beautiful virgin white snow-clad gown. She is wearing a beautiful white dress, which suggests her virginity. She has not had any contact with outside world. She has not had any lover. But now she exposes herself in the world of sexuality, masculinity, in the outside world. She is dressed in snowy white. So people notice her beauty. But what is her tragic fate? Let's read. Lying, robed in snowy white, that loosely flew to left and right, the leaves upon her falling light, through the noises of the night, she floated down to Camelot. And as the boat head wound along the willowy hills and field among, they heard her singing her last song, the Lady of Shalott. So while she goes down to Camelot, floating in her boat, she is singing a song. She was singing a song in the beginning of the poem, and now she sings a song when we know that she is about to end her story. It means she is happy. In captivity, she was happy until and unless she had not seen Sir Lancelot. Now, she is free. She is free to roam about. She is singing a song that expresses her identity and true feelings. Who is this and what is here? And in the lighted palace near died the sound of royal cheer, and they crossed themselves for fear, all the knights at Camelot. But Sir Lancelot mused a little space. He said, she has a lovely face. God in his mercy lend her grace, this Lady of Shalott. So this is how the poem ends. Okay, so what do you notice in the last stanza? Nobody knows what is going on. They have never seen such a beautiful lady ever. But now what is written on the boat, they see it clearly. This is the Lady of Shalott. And the people who were making merry in the palace, they stopped their celebrations and gathered together to have a look at the dying lady. The moment she comes to Camelot, she dies. The curse falls upon her. The curse falls upon her, she dies, and people gather to have a look at the beautiful face of the lady. Sir Lancelot muses a little and says, "She has a lovely face. God in his mercy lend her grace, the Lady of Shalott." So this is the man for whom she broke all boundaries, all her, you know, limitations, and finally she meets him when she is dead. So this is a poem about her unrequited love for Sir Lancelot. Okay, so this is the basis of another Arthurian legend by which Tennyson was quite influenced, the Elaine of Astolat. So you might read about that Arthurian legend. So this poem is also, uh, you know, it also has an impression of that legend, in which Elaine, she, you know, dies of her unrequited love for the knight, Sir Lancelot. Similarly, the Lady of Shalott, when she reaches the town of Camelot, she dies. The moment she enters Camelot, she dies. She finally meets her lover, but he doesn't know that she loves her. But what do we but even in her tragedy, there is a sense of victory. Why? Because at least she has the, you know, at least she wields her power to step outside her monotonous existence and explore the world on her own. She is vulnerable, she is at danger, but at least she's free. So she dies without any guilt or remorse. She dies with a peaceful smile on her face. She sings, even when she knows it is her last time. So the poem is an expression of female individuality, women's rights, freedom to express their identity, to express their self, to step outside their monotonous everyday routine existence and explore the world at large. Alright? Another interpretation that might be associated with this poem is that Tennyson explores the theme of art for art's sake. He criticizes that art which does not have any imprint on outside reality. Art is to be realized, art is to be, art, the true purpose of art is the welfare of society. You know, when an artist performs or undertakes his artwork in solitude, in isolation, he or she you know he or she may become aloof, isolated, mad. So artists also need to grasp what is happening outside. They need to understand the true picture of reality. Otherwise, they would always be caught in a web of representations and reflections. Their art will have no meaning until and unless they take inspiration from outside life, until and unless they interact with common people, with the rural folk, until and unless they experience life as it really is. So art should not be performed in isolation. Art always has an art always has an indelible relationship with reality, with the outside world. So we might relate this theme with, you know, with the criticism of aestheticism, art for art's sake, in which art does not have any moral or ethical value. Art is to be valued only when it reflects society, it reflects the concern of common people. Otherwise, art which is performed in seclusion, isolation, may have drastic effects on the psyche and mind, and of course health of the creator. So these are some of the themes which I highlighted in this lecture. I hope this complex poem seems simpler to you now. So in our next lecture, I'll discuss another poem with you. So for the time being, thank you so much. I hope it helped. Thank you so much. See you soon.